The Friday Night Football Frenzy is presented by Bay State Savings Bank, Herb Chambers Toyota of Auburn, and UMass Memorial Healthcare.
Coming up next on the state finals edition of the Friday Night Football Frenzy. Northbridge hopes their third trip to Gillette is the charm as the Rams battle East Bridgewater for the D5 title. The Nashoba Chieftains look to finish their perfect season as they battle the Reading Rockets. The St. Bernard's Bernardians square off against the Mashpee Falcons for the Division 6 crown. And Kevin Shea and Jim Wilson take a look back at the 2015 season. It's the Frenzy, the final one of the year, and it starts right now.
All the weightlifting in January, all the sprints you're in this summer, going away to camp, preseason scrimmages, all those things are for one night, Friday night.
Hello everybody and welcome to the state championship edition of the Friday Night Football Frenzy. I'm Andy Lacombe. Kevin Shea and Jim Wilson in a few moments in their unique take on the 2015 season. But there were football games to be played today at Gillette Stadium, and we start with a team, the Northbridge Rams, making their third straight trip to the state championships. And here we go, trying for their first win. Coach Losh has the championship sweater on. That's usually a good sign. The weather, though, nice in Foxborough. First quarter, Rams on the march. Kobe Schofer to Jake Wood. And Woody bringing a tackler down inside Viking territory. Rams would cash in. Wood powering up the gut for the score. 2-yard touchdown, 7-0, Northbridge. Rams driving again. Schofer to Wood. Makes the catch off the shoestrings. Down to the 9-yard line. Same drive, second quarter. Schofer laser beam to Chandler Brooks, 13-0. Northbridge had never led in a state championship the first 2 years they were in it. Northbridge up 16-7 after a Reichert field goal. East Bridgewater's Ryan Graham to Michael Corey, a 37-yard score. It's 16-14. Northbridge needs the answer and gets it. Schofer, touch pass to Wood. 72 yards for the score. Rams led 23-20 at the break. So we go to the start of the second half. East Bridgewater right down the field. Graham to Jake Peterson on a crossing route. Peterson, 34 yards for the score. The Vikings are now up 27-23. Northbridge coming right back. Schofer, by the way, playing on like one leg. Had rolled an ankle, hits Chandler Brooks, pushed out of bounds the 15-yard line. So they had to rely on the runners, and Mike Quinn powering in from a couple yards out. The Rams retake the lead, 30-27. Back comes East Bridgewater. Graham hitting Peterson, makes a sensational catch, 19-yard score. That was on 4th and 1, and the Vikings lead 34-30 in the fourth quarter. Northbridge not done. The running Rams, Wood up the middle, 5-yard score. Northbridge leads 36-34 with 4.5 minutes to play. So East Bridgewater looking for the answer. Graham scrambling in the pocket. Knocked away. Alex Dowd, and picked up by Chad Vaudre to end the drive. Dowd, an unsung hero linebacker. Last chance for East Bridgewater. Graham, deep drop. Kobe Schofer on one leg with the pick. Under a minute to go, Northbridge wins the D5 title, 36-34. Mission accomplished for the Rams.
Mission accomplished. That was the greatest feeling I've ever had, and we worked so hard and we answered every single play. And our guys, no, we didn't give up, and losing wasn't an option today. And we stuck through it, no matter how much pain we were in and how tired we got. Credit to them; they're an amazing team. But we pushed through.
It feels amazing. Starting with that, our sophomore year, we came here not really knowing what to expect, and we played a very good Fenwick team, and they handed it to us. And then last year, we thought we'd play better than we did, so that one hurt worse. But being able to come out here and just fight and get it as a team, it's no better. It's no greater feeling.
It hasn't really sunk in yet. Probably later today we'll be like, holy crap, we are state champions. It took us 2-3 years, but you know what? We finally got it done our senior year, and it's a great way to go on top with these group of seniors.
Quinn, Schofer, Wood, all the seniors, studs. Big time win for the Northbridge Rams. And you know what? Ken LaChapelle, the win not lost on him. He always puts it in perspective, and the coach moments after the win reflecting on the championship.
Well, Coach, 3 years, thank goodness, I guess, right? How about this game?
This is very much a relief. Yeah, you know, the last 2 times we were here with the same core of kids, we sort of had it handed to us. You know, people would question it as a mismatch. And we even heard rumblings that that part of the state felt that maybe there should be a mix between them in the West and to go to this. So this was sort of a little redemption for us. But the difference was that same core that brought us here 2 other times led us to victory this year. We had that, and they were seniors. And there's always a difference between a sophomore and a senior. And we had such a great year. The only blip was the Uxbridge game. But we won the game that mattered, and I thought our kids played an outstanding game. What a great feeling to finally say you're state champs. Only 6 people are going to say that today.
What can you say about Kobe? Obviously, it seemed like he was playing on half a leg or one leg for most of that game, and what he was able to do, and Jake and Quinn and all the seniors.
Kobe's been fighting a leg injury for half the year, but this sprained ankle is the second time he's tweaked that. And But with Kobe going down, isn't it what we ask as coaches? Someone's got to pick up the pace, and guess what? Mikey, Quinn, and Jake Wood were outstanding.
Obviously, this was the goal to get back here. You thought you had the team to get back here. You just had to be healthy. You get here, you accomplish it. Now that you've had maybe 15 minutes to let it sink in, what's it like?
I don't even think it's really sunk in yet, you know. Everyone thinks you're good right now. You know, as a person, a human being, just because you won the game, and that's so silly. But in terms of our feeling, it's just waking up tomorrow and saying we are state champions, and to play in such an exciting game, that's awesome.
All right, great win for the Northbridge Rams. They had a huge gathering as the Rams brought the trophy back to LaSalle Field this afternoon. All right, we have much more, including 2 more state championships coming up your way after the break. Stay with us.
The Friday Night Football Frenzy is brought to you by Uniben, Holy Cross Athletics, the law offices of Joseph J. Corrigula, the Compass Tavern, St. John's High School of Shrewsbury, Proterra Nissan of Auburn, Poochie's, Milford Federal Savings Bank, College Advisors. Visit us online at collegeadvisors.net and Carl's Oxford Dining.
All right, it's been a magical ride for a couple of teams in North County, and in Division 6, the St. Bernard's Bernardians, they beat West Boylston in Central Mass. They pounded out a Western Mass win, and now into the state championship game against Mashpee, a team who's won a state title in the last 2 years. So here come the Bernardians, ready for bear. And it was Mashpee early on. This highlight from Scott Wilson's daughter, who is still celebrating a Northbridge win, but she captures Deshaun Diaz going in for a touchdown, 8-0 Falcons. Second quarter, the Auburn guy takes over the shooting, and Cooper Bigelow hits Zach Merchant fighting for the catch. It's 1st and goal for the Bernardians. 2 plays later, Aaron Robichaux powers in for the touchdown. It's 8-6. And the fans, St. B's, rejoicing. Robichaux flying into the end zone for the 2-point conversion, tied the game at 8. To the 4th quarter, same score. Mashpee's Diaz. Deshaun breaking it back. 55 yards. The ponytail flying in the wind for the touchdown. He adds another later in this one, and Mashpee gets the win 28-8, ending a great season by the St. Bernardians. Nashoba and Reading in the D2 state title game. This one this evening, opening kick, tough to handle for the Chieftains. Here comes Reading, William Connery with the forced fumble, and the Rockets recover in the end zone. Touchdown Reading, 8 seconds into the game. Rockets lead 6-0. Second quarter, Nashoba's Jake Benjamin checking in. Benjamin, big first down run. 18 yards, and here come the Chieftains offense because the very next play, Benjamin taking off. 44 yards to the house, the big fella going in. Chieftains lead 7-6. Reading trying to answer. Drive, going for it on 4th down. Inside the 20, Benjamin breaks up the pass. Chieftains D holds. So here comes Benjamin, the workhorse. He's going to hurdle a defender there. Almost obscured by the official. He's a Central Mass official, so we love him. It doesn't matter. 1st down for the Chieftains. Nashoba's Robert Atwood. Then hitting Nate Mansour. All alone, 64 yards for the touchdown. 14-6, Nashoba. And the team's supporters are going crazy at Gillette. Then the defense making it hold up. Ethan Bachtel, strip sack here in the 2nd quarter. Recovering the fumble. Chieftains in the 2nd half get some big-time plays as their crowd would rejoice. Nick Rogers, jet sweep. The junior goes in for a touchdown. That extended the Nashoba lead to 2 scores. And then there's A.J. Andrioli, another local, working the game. Atwood putting the game away to Tony Kennan. The big play by Kennan seals the win for Nashoba. They are the Division II champions, 27-13, and now in the 3rd year of state championships at Gillette Stadium, Central Mass has 4 state titles, 2 of them coming this year with Northbridge and Nashoba. Kevin and Jim to break down the year that was after we come back from the break. Stay with us.
The Friday Night Football Frenzy is presented by Bay State Savings Bank, Herb Chambers Toyota of Auburn, and UMass Memorial Healthcare.
Welcome back, everyone. Kevin Shea with Jim Wilson, the editor for the high school editor for the Telegram-Gazette Sports and Home Team Magazine. And really, we put a wrap on the season. We'll start with, kind of the great debate of who's number 1, Northbridge or Nashoba. The big question. I would love, of course, to have the true Central Mass Super Bowl and have those 2 teams play and then decide who the true number 1 team is. But you can make a case for both teams right here. You can make an easy case that Nashoba's number 1 because of those wins that they had, and especially on the road, beating Leominster, beating St. John's on a neutral site, beating all the teams that they had to, Wachusett, en route to go into the Super Bowl. And Northbridge rather, beating everyone that's in their path. So it's and look at some of the big wins that Northbridge had. Dismantling St. Peter Marion. Right. So they're such a talented team.
Exactly. I don't think there's a wrong answer in terms of who you put number 1. Because I think that we're talking right now at this point. We're talking about Super Bowl teams playing at Gillette Stadium. They're all going to be good.
Right.
But just like you said, it's about you look at the peripheral stuff. I'm more of a who have you played, who have you beaten. That's why I had Nashoba over in Northbridge the last couple of weeks, heading into the playoffs where we start our poll for this. But it's all, I think, like I said, Nashoba coming in, beating a St. John's, beating a Leominster, just coming in with you say every week, they really don't have a stud 2,000-yard rusher or a guy like Zach Hume a couple of years ago who's just a threat on defense. They have 11 good football players on both sides of the ball, and that's how they're getting the job done. And that's not to say Northbridge isn't, because Northbridge right there, they have an all-starter position. They shut down teams on both sides of the ball. Their defense is one of the best things you've seen. And they would shut down, I think, a Division II team if they had to play. But it's always an argument. What if they did it every week and all of a sudden people start going down with injuries? It's but you kind of want to play that what-if game. That's why the Shea Bowl at some point will happen.
I would love it. It would be outstanding. The MIAA will come after me because this will be free admission for everyone. We have the Shea Bowl.
We'll push winter and spring back even more. We'll play it after Thanksgiving. It'll be fantastic. It'll
be great. We'll be a packed house. We'll play in a dome, perfect environment. Harvard, they have that bubble there at Harvard or BC.
Yeah.
We can play it there. Looking at some of the teams this year that I think really overachieved, and that's a combination of the kids and just the desire, the effort, the will that they put in, the work they put in, week out, and the coaching staffs who did such a great job. And we talk about Holy Name and Marlboro and Grafton, teams that really kind of opened eyes and did it on a week in and week out basis.
Right. Marlboro's one of those teams. Mahoney's done such a great job with that program for every year. They've had, Liam Shanahan's one of the best linemen you're going to see. He's going Division I. I think that having that, they were one of those teams they sort of got overlooked a little bit because of the bigger brothers in the mid in the league and in the Division II. They weren't, whether they're sexy as Leominster or St. John's, but they're still. I don't think St. John's wanted to play them, because they're going to give you a battle every time with Capadonna and all those guys. They're going to give you a fix every time you play them. So they're a real tough team. but they get overlooked because I don't think they're on that level.
Right.
But still, they can.
They're just right. They're a notch below
Right.
the true elites, but they are, like you said, they're the team that no one in Central Mass wants to play because they're so well coached. They're so tough. Every single game they come, they hit. You know, and you know what you're going to get with these Marlboro teams.
Right. And you saw that with like Grafton and Holy Name in Division 4. When we're all talking about when's the Shepherd Hill, St. Peter Marion going to play in the Super Bowl, or Doherty's going to be in there. They're all paternal equipment. Well, they should have been, but they still want to play Thanksgiving.
Right.
But that's another frenzy for another time.
No, we can get into that later on too. We will get
How
into
much
that.
time do we have?
Oh, Thanksgiving.
But we have those teams who came in. They won big games when they had to.
Yes.
And they won. And they ended up playing for the Central Mass title. It was a great game. Probably took 15 minutes to play. And it was just two teams just punch each other in the face for 45 minutes.
It was the board drill. It was
Exactly.
just the board drill. We're going to do the board drill for 20 minutes, then we'll take a little break, and then we'll resume and we'll do the board drill.
Did they even
again.
play football? They just did Oklahoma drills. They just did Oklahoma.
Yep, just smash mouth. You and I have said this before, and off camera I've said this a ton to you, but Mike Pucko is one of the greatest coaches around, and I've said this for a long time. He can take his and beat yours. He can take yours and beat his. I mean, he's that good. He's that detail-oriented. He was putting in 80 hours a week just watching film this year and trying to devise schemes to some way give his team an advantage in how can we win week to week because of the numbers being so thin, but also even some of the starters they had out there really probably shouldn't have been playing varsity for another 2 years or 3 years. And you know, I mean, when you were a freshman in high school or sophomore in high school, you're not ready to play varsity football. You could play maybe basketball, you could play baseball. You can't play football. It's a different sport. And you need that physical maturity. You need even the mental maturity. And, you know, to throw kids into the fire very early and too early, that's hard to do.
Especially the schedule they play, too.
Yeah.
I mean, every year you hear the rumors about this being Puck's last year. I'm hoping it's not the case. I'm hoping he's around forever because I think he deserves to go out wherever he wants because I think he's a tremendous asset. Like you said, for all the reasons you said before with just the game planning and getting kids ready, playing above their space. But he's also the first guy to make a phone call for your player to get for a college spot or trying to find a prep school to play for. He doesn't care what uniform you wore those first 11, 12 weeks. He knows you love the game of football. You want to keep playing. He's to do his best to make sure you get most eyes on you as possible.
No, he calls people all the time. He calls Don Brown. He called Donnie Brown like a couple days ago. Donnie Brown, the defensive coordinator of the #1 defense in the country at Boston College, picks up his phone call right away. What do you got? Who are you trying to sell me here? And he's going to tell him about his kids. But like you said, he's going to tell him about other kids. He's going to tell him about this kid from Nashoba. I really think you should be looking at him. This kid from Shepherd Hill. And he'll do the same thing at UMass with Mark Whipple. And he'll do the same thing at all kinds of colleges, and not even just Division I. He'll do it at Division II. He'll do it at Division III. If you want to play football, he wants to find a place for you to play college football. And that's unique, that he's that unselfish.
And he doesn't care about how many trophies he has on as Coach of the Year or whatever. You know, he's fine with the post-game party. He wants the kids to enjoy what football's given him over the years.
Right, and it's just great. It's a great. You and I both are obviously love football and think it's just such a phenomenal sport. Looking at, you kind of touched on it, the Thanksgiving Day, whatever you want to call it. It's not really a quandary because most teams it isn't. But Northbridge had it this year, and it was the first year that they've kind of really had to deal that we've had it before with Leominster and Fitchburg.
Oh yeah.
Northbridge plays Uxbridge in the Central Mass Super Bowl. They beat Uxbridge. Then they have to play them 10 days later on Thanksgiving. They're playing for a state championship in the Super Bowl against East Bridgewater. So they're resting guys. Some guys didn't play. A couple starters didn't play at all.
Some guys
left
at halftime.
A couple players stayed, just a half, limited role here and there. They lose to Uxbridge, and credit to Uxbridge because they played a great game. We're not taking anything away from Uxbridge, but you're not going all in like you would if that was the last game of the season. They're playing everyone. They're all in.
There's big asterisks in that game.
And there's another fault in this system for everyone that wants to say, well, it's nothing. Tell that to Northbridge. You know, tell it to the Northbridge coaches because, and the players, and those players that sat out their senior year, their Thanksgiving Day game, their senior year because they were nicked up. They would have played if it was the last game of their career, but they had a state Super Bowl to get ready for against an East Bridgewater team that they'll never see again. But those Uxbridge kids, they're going to see during basketball season, during lacrosse and baseball season, and there'll be those chants of Thanksgiving Day.
That's why I've heard a lot from coaches, especially the ones that have been Gillette. They know what the atmosphere is. Everybody wants to win the state title. It's great for prestige and it's pride. But it pales in comparison sometimes to the Central Mass title game, which is like the big game for a lot of these guys. They want to be the best in Central Mass, and beating Western Mass and Eastern Mass is like gravy for them almost.
Right.
Not that I'm not trying to downplay a Super Bowl, because it's a huge thing.
Yeah.
Look at Doherty a couple of years ago. That was the best thing that happened to that program in 50 years, 60 years.
Right.
And you don't want to take anything away from it because there's a lot of memories created there. But then you're losing, like you said, when you're losing, the Thanksgiving allure. You're looking at Gates being down. It's not as much of a. I was joking with somebody on Thanksgiving Day when I was at Shrewsbury. It was a whole, I miss, in a sick way, I miss my phone blowing up from other coaches or texts coming in from other teams. Like, hey, you're at Shrewsbury Wachusett. What's the score of that game? We're over here at Holy Name, Auburn. If Holy Name wins, they're going to go to the playoffs and all that stuff. I like that, having that chaos.
Exact conversation Mike Dubzinski and I had. Exact conversation. Right. We missed the days of what happened at Fitchburg, Leominster. Hey, give me the score of Milford, Shrewsbury. That was awesome, and that was unique. It
My
was
wife
great.
hated it.
Yes, but everyone in football loved it. All the coaches, all the kids loved it. We're out of time. We got gypped again, Willie.
Oh, my word.
We didn't even get to the teams that we think are going to be good next year. We're going to have maybe
Director's
a hot
cut.
stove frenzy.
We're going to YouTube.
January. Yeah,
put on.
We'll give us the extended view.
Frenzy after dark.
That'll do it for this edition of The Frenzy, but we got plenty more coming on The Frenzy, so stay with us.
All right, we're done with football for now, but the Holy Cross Women's Basketball Show coming your way. Thursday is at 8, Saturdays and Sundays at 5. It's presented by Lundgren Honda of Auburn. Get all the news you want to know about Bill Gibbons and his team this season. And the high school basketball season is steadily approaching, and we have basketball coming your way as well. We'll be live from gyms around Central Massachusetts. All right, so let's recap a little bit. Our top story, the Northbridge Rams state champions, Nashoba Chieftains state champions, now 4 state titles for Central Massachusetts teams. None for Western Mass, by the way, at this point. So Eastern Mass and Central Mass sharing all the state titles. Jake Benjamin, Robbie Atwood, men of the match for Nashoba today. They were awesome carrying that team, helping carry that offense. Mike Quinn, Kobe Schofer, and Jake Wood, men of the match for Northbridge. All those seniors. Quinn coming off surgery in the offseason. Schofer playing hurt. Wood playing dinged up. Dowd, Kanama, they all had a big part of this win for the Northbridge Rams. Congratulations to all the teams. We thank our sponsors for their support all season long. That'll do it for the Frenzy. One final time, congrats to the state champs. I'm Andy Lacombe. Have a great night.